A very good afternoon to you on this 25th day of November 2024, a day when leaders from various quarters have launched 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We thank you for joining us. My name is George Maringa. That and much more is making headlines, including... Among the top stories making headlines at this hour, various stakeholders in the country have launched 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
Let's end all this violence among young women and also among young girls, and also for the violence that is meted to our fellow young boys. We're asking them to come out.
Education PS Belio Kipsang has said grade 9 transition will be a success come January 2025.
As at now, across the country, government is putting up 11,000 classrooms funded through the Ministry of Education.
And a section of church leaders and politicians from the North Rift have called upon EACC to investigate controversial Adani deals.
Those who procured Adani, we want to call upon EACC to investigate those who procured an illegality.
We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you on the socials. I am at George Maringa _. You can also post to at TV47 News KE. Use the hashtag NewsNow. Let's get you informed, shall we? And leaders and activists in different parts of the country came out in numbers to launch the beginning of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Speaking at Kileleshwa Primary School in Nairobi County, Dagoretti Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi pledged to support the fight against gender-based violence within her constituency. Further, Elachi said civic education forums will be introduced in the constituency to avert cases of femicide.
Kila mwaka huwa tuna celebrate 16 days of activism. Mutaona hata kule Riruta kuna crew wamekuja huko. The whole week watakuwa pia wanafanya mikutano yao. Na sisi kama wamama wa bunge pia tukaamua pia sisi to join hiyo campaign ili tuweze kuhamasisha kina mama, ndugu zetu, vijana wetu, baba zetu, tuwaambie iko kitu imetokelezea, watoto wetu wasichana wanauawa kiholela holela. So sisi theme yetu ya 2024 is a theme of towards Beijing plus 30. Unite to end violence against women and girls.
So our call is for even the people, the lawmakers, not the lawmakers, but the police officers, whenever they receive these particular cases, they ought to receive them with one heart, considering that violence can be meted either on the men or on the women.
Online petition ya ku request, ask the government to build and equip safe houses for gender-based violence survivors. So mimi nasukuma hii agenda sana, tupate safe houses, tupate support even for mental health for gender-based violence survivors.
A section of religious and political leaders have pleaded with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to act with speed and arrest government officials who were involved with Adani JKIA deal that was recently cancelled by President William Ruto. The leaders highlighted how they were pessimistic with the controversial Adani deal, claiming how it could have negatively affected JKIA employees should it have taken effect. They also praised President William Ruto for cancelling the controversial deals with Indian-based giant Adani Group, saying it had tainted the image of government due to corruption and bribery allegations against the firm.
Those who procured Adani, we want to call upon EACC to investigate those who procured an illegality that led to the cancellation of the Adani deal. And action must be taken upon those who procured it. There must be accountability in this country. We can't just be doing things left, right, and center, which at the end of it, we embarrass the president and you embarrass the government.
Now, since the president has cancelled the Adani deal, we really appreciate because Kenyans were considering this deal as the burden to Kenyans.
Ilikuwa imetuchanganya sana wale watu wanafanya katika airport, na sisi wa Kenya kwa ujumla tulikuwa tumekuwa wasiwasi sababu ya uwanja wetu kuuzwa, lakini sasa bila rais alikatalia, tulishukuru, tunampatia pongezi ya kwamba ni vizuri sasa amesimama kama yule mtu anataka kutetea sisi wa Kenya ili makateli wasipinde ndani wakitunyanyaza.
Principal Secretary in the State Department of Basic Education, Bello Kipsang, has affirmed the government's commitment to ensure a smooth transition for learners from grade 8 to grade 9 next year. Speaking at Masikonde Primary School in Narok County, Kipsang noted that by January next year, 11,000 classrooms will have been constructed for grade 9 students, with another 5,000 planned to be built by the National Government Constituency Development Fund in order to meet the total required 16,000 classrooms across the country.
As at now, across the country, government is putting up 11,000 classrooms funded through the Ministry of Education. We are working with the National Government Constituency Development Fund, who are also doing another 7,000 classrooms. We have a special fund which has been allocated to Nairobi County because of their unique circumstances, which is another 1 billion shillings. So that we can all work together towards making sure that we are ready for our children going to grade 9 in January. I also want to confirm, and Mwalimu has just told me, that we have received books for grade 9. And as you are all aware, the CS sometimes back launched the distribution of the core textbooks that will be used by our children in the 9 learning areas. We are going to make sure that we avail a book for every learning area, for every learner. And also there will be teachers' guides, which will support the teachers in preparing for curriculum delivery to these children.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has drummed up support for the empowerment and inclusion of women in leadership positions, saying gender diversity is the key to a sustainable future. The CJ spoke during the 4th Women in Leadership and Governance Conference in Naivasha, organized by the Institute of Certified Secretaries, which brought together women leaders and professionals on how to advance the role of women in leadership.
When you leave here, you will not be the same again. You will have clarified your vision. And you will go out there to make it a reality. And you have known how to deal with all the obstacles.
So it's our 4th time we're having the conference, and we have seen it continue to grow and to impact women. And so we intend to do it better next time, and we are even looking at how to institutionalize it so that it's not just a once in a year conference, but can have other activities and initiatives to just empower the woman as she sits at the boardroom to feel like they deserve it and to get the support that they need.
We have learned so much from our fellow women, and I'm sure that even as we continue to learn from one another, we are growing each other to continue to have people learning from us.
Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza has been ranked the best performing governor with 76% in the latest poll by Polytrack Africa. He is followed by Tharaka Nidi's Governor Muthomi Njuki with 75.1% and Narok's Patrick Olentutu with 73.2%. The research engaged 3,211 respondents from across the country and rated 20 of the best performing governors. The survey was carried out between 10th and 17th of November 2024. The survey found out that there was little investment in development across the counties, and those that had invested in development would hurt other sectors, especially having a lean workforce. Private medical institutions have been cautioned and asked to comply with the regulatory body so as to offer certified courses to learners pursuing the medical profession. Speaking during the 10th graduation ceremony at Trisent School of Medical Health Sciences and Technology in Juja, the PS for Health, Mary Muthoni, cautioned that some colleges are offering courses that are not fit in the medical profession, leaving the graduates unemployed. The managing director of Trisent Medical College, Danish Okech, has emphasized on the compliance with the regulatory body to have competent graduates for the job market.
We are collaborating very closely with the medical training schools because we really want them to train individuals who are employable out here. I have seen many instances where medical schools are actually establishing or formulating courses and where the graduates are not employable out here or globally. It is important that all medical schools collaborate with the Ministry of Health and the regulatory bodies so that they stand guided on the courses that they are supposed to train in their schools.
We need to push our graduates to the market. We need to employ them, and as you see today, we are the PS of Health, and they still talk about students being innovative so that they can get jobs. So as Trisent family, we want to tell the public that we have very good standards, and we are going to, as we grow, we are going to do much the market.
Mimi naomba serikali kabisa it's doing an amazing job na walliance na shule, because wale wenye wanatoka tuseme wenye graduate last year, maybe kuna wenye bado wako home, so serikali inaweza tusaidia in alliance na shule, hata kama it's on locum or mnaandiko on internship but mnalipwa, ama temporarily, ndio mtu unajua ukikaa nje sana hizi skills like a medical course, hizi skills zita shed off.
We are collaborating.
Kenyan civil society organizations led by the Center for Environment, Justice and Development, CIJAD, and Henrik Boyle Foundation, Nairobi, have urged African leaders to unite in demanding for decisive action to reduce production of plastics and eliminate hazardous chemicals in plastics throughout their life cycle. Figures indicate globally, plastic production has more than doubled in the last 15 years, with global output reaching 400 million tons annually. Less than 10% of this plastic is recycled, leaving waste to accumulate in ecosystems, harming biodiversity and burdening marine and terrestrial environments. Plastic pollution is not just an environmental issue, but also a climate, health and social justice crisis. The CSOs emphasizing on the need for a global solution for plastic pollution.
A person who manufactures, imports, exports, uses, sells and offers for sale or possesses plastic carrier bag without license commits an offence and shall on conviction be liable to penalties set out in section 144 of MCA.
We cannot close our ears or our eyes to the reality that there is tripling of plastic production, so that by the 2050 or 2030, there will be more plastics if we don't take action now. So that has to be a conversation that has to be emphasized.
As civil society organizations, we are calling for a reduction in plastic production. We also want clear targets on the reduction. We need to quantify in terms of time and in terms of numbers. How much are we going to reduce, and that needs to come out explicitly.
The things that we are facing, like problems of respiratory system, unapatanga ukihave kupumua, unashindangwa kupumua, ile burns ikiban pale dam site. So for the single-use plastic, mi naweza sema wa stop producing if they don't have the market.
The government to take lead in the reduction of plastic pollution and focus on fighting the non-recyclable plastics to make sure that the value chain of the recyclables is sustainable because most people talk about waste pickers without specifying the kind of plastic they are talking about. So if you don't have single-use plastics and we have recyclable plastics, it means when recyclables are in use, there will be no more pollution in our communities.
The Kenya Navy has launched a tree planting program as part of the efforts to rehabilitate mining areas occupied by Base Titanium Company in Msambweni, Kwale County. Speaking during the exercise, the commander of the National Defense College, Colonel Benson Karwimbo, stated that over 1,500 trees were planted in the area in preparation for the celebration of 60 years since the establishment of the Kenya Navy, an event that will be held next month. Base Titanium is expected to close its operation in the area by the end of this year. Currently, 75% of the land has been rehabilitated through tree planting.
Na hii tulianzisha wakati himizwa kuzingatia maneno ya conservation of the environment. Na hii tunafanya kwa sababu ya kugundua faida ya mazingira kwetu sisi. Miti ikiwa ni sehemu mojawapo ya kuzingatia hali nzuri ya mazingira, tunajua faida zake.
We have fully completed our rehabilitation, that's grass planting, and tree planting on an area known as South Dune to the south of us. Here we are on Central Dune, we're about 50 to 75% of the way through. And obviously, as we finish our mining up on the areas of North Dune and Bumamani, then once we're done, the rehabilitation will really kick off. But the plan is to have certainly the groundwork of rehabilitation. That's the land reshaped and reformed, the topsoil returned, the grass planted, and well on the way with planting our trees, all done across all the areas come the 30th of June next year.
The family of one Roslyn Wangare is in shock following her sudden death shortly after delivering a healthy baby at a hospital in Roysambu. The incident, reported to Kasarani Police Station, has left her loved ones demanding answers and justice. According to her husband, Roslyn was admitted to the hospital on Saturday night to deliver her second baby. By Sunday morning, she had successfully delivered and assured him via a phone call at 6 a.m. that she was feeling well and was heading to the bathroom to freshen up. However, the husband's attempt to visit her later that morning were unsuccessful. He was denied access to see her until noon, when he was informed of her untimely death.
Wakati nilimleta alikuwa sawa na tukaachana naye saa 4. Nikamwambia, akaniambia sasa wewe uko sawa, enda tuonane kesho. Sasa asubuhi 5:30 akanipigia simu akaniambia amepata mtoto mzuri, kitu yeye anagojea tu ni kuoga, yani ni ile nini yake itoke aoge nimkute akinyonyesha mtoto. Wanasema ati ilifanyika ati nini ile nini yao ya kutoka ndio ilikataa kutoka, wakampeleka wakampeleka Vieta. Hawakunipigia simu, namba yangu ya simu iko hapo. Hawakuniambia nikuja ni saini aende Vieta. Then she was in his hospital.
And my concern was the communication between the doctors or the hospital and the father of the child or the husband was not very clear, because I would not imagine someone passed on at 9:24 a.m. according to the report that they have shared, yet the husband was here at 6 p.m. and they were not engaging him on any discussion. Sorry, 6 a.m. he was here.
The Parliamentary Committee on Regional Development is now urging the government to release the necessary funds for critical projects that have stalled and are crippling the lives of ordinary Kenyans. Speaking in Kajiado County during an inspection tour of several projects, members of the committee stated that a number of projects have been halted due to insufficient funds, leading to incomplete implementations, resulting in unsustainable work and wastage of resources. They also highlighted that the severe water shortage is negatively affecting residents of rural areas, with millions of taxpayer funds lying idle and used in unfinished projects.
The counties are doing. Na tumeona ni mradi mdogo kwa sababu umegharimu tu milioni 25. Lakini unaona hapa kuna wananchi zaidi ya 1000 ambao wataweza kunufaika na huu mradi, na pia wafugaji. Tumeambiwa hapa ile mifugo ambayo inapata maji hapa ni zaidi ya 20,000. Sasa haya ndio maendeleo ambayo sisi tunataka, kama serikali inataka kupea wananchi. Na kuna level mbili za serikali. Hii ni national government imefanya, na ninapenda kusihi watu wa county, kwa sababu hata haya mambo ya maji, provision of water ni majukumu yao. Tunaomba wakuja hapa in a big way ili tuweze kumaliza shida ya maji, ili wamama wapate nafasi ya kufanya kazi nyingine mbali na kutafuta maji, because I'm told kabla ya hii mradi.
Now, a call has been made to stakeholders in the health sector to establish policies and procedures that are gender sensitive in order to protect the well-being of health workers, ensure equal pay and provide mental health support to all healthcare service providers. The recommendations have been made after a research conducted by Aga Khan University, which focused on safe working environments for female health workers. The study highlighted that although health systems heavily relied on women for healthcare delivery, they did not address the unique gender challenges these workers faced. Indeed, we will be getting you that story in our subsequent bulletin a little bit later on as well, especially on matters the plight of the health workers. Now, the youth in Rurie and Wero wards in Nyandarua County have been encouraged to take better care of their donkeys to enhance self-employment opportunities through the donkey business. Speaking during a sports event for young donkey owners in Kasuku Town, Purity Njoroge, the program's coordinator for Kenya Farming System, highlighted the critical role donkeys play in the local economy. She noted that in Kasuku, many young people earn their livelihoods by using donkeys for transport and other services. This initiative not only highlights the economic importance of donkeys, but also reinforces their role in fostering sustainable livelihoods in Nyandarua County.
Vijana wakicheza mpira, kwa sababu wako kwa vikundi, kuna mafunzo ambao tunawapatia wakiwa pamoja. Na wakiwa pamoja, wanakuwa na ile bond. Na wakiwa na bond, they are able to take care of their donkeys together, wakiwa kwa pamoja. Kupitia yale mafunzo, na pia katika vikundi kuna vipengele katika sheria zao. Tunasema lazima ukiwa kwa kikundi yetu na tunacheza mpira na wewe, lazima uangalie punda namna hii. Usipo, kuna sheria tutakuchukulia kama kikundi.
Ile kitu tu nataka kusema ni kwamba hapo nyuma tumekuwa na uhalifu kidogo. Wakora wanashika punda, wanachinja. Na tumeweka mikakati maalum ambayo tumeshirikiana na machifu wetu na wazee wa nyumba 10 kufanya patrols na kutambua wale wanahusika na hiyo kazi, na imerudi chini.
Kuko na utafiti ulifanywa wa kuangalia contribution ya donkey to the economy ya Nyandarua, na tukaona kweli punda ni mnyama wa maana. Kama hapa Nyandarua population ile tuko nayo ya punda ni karibu 11,000.
A group of environmentalists from Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology in Kakamega, in collaboration with students from Nigeria, organized a conference about the environment at the university with the aim of calling on board other young people to participate in environmental conservation. Led by Patrick Ebukala, the students cleaned Kakamega Market and planted seedlings in various areas of Kakamega County. They highlighted the issue of climate change as a growing global challenge that must be addressed urgently, at the same time commending the existing policies and government efforts on tree planting, while calling for further strategies to prevent drought and floods in the country.
The government has got a big role to make sure that the policies are implemented. Like example, NEMA
is a custodian of this riverbank, whatever, but they are trying, but they are not implementing fully as is required. The MCA Act should be reviewed and be implemented. We have got the 2022 Climate Change Act. I think it is in the Parliament. The Parliament worked on it, but now we are waiting for implementation.
When I talk of tree planting, tree growing, we just don't plant trees. We plant the trees and make sure that they survive. So today, our aim, we are planting 1,000 trees in this function.
And then terminate that to the government should help in providing resources for such plantings. And then for the community should desist from deforestation, because deforestation is one of the major causes of climate change. We are here today to correct that misconception of already made conceptions of deforestation, planting thousands of trees that will help for the betterment of tomorrow. And I want to say to the public and to the world and to everyone here, what we are doing today, we might not have a direct benefit to it.
Matter climate change, human beings find themselves at the center of this climate change issue. So we as the youth, let me send out a message to all the youths outside through Kenya. Let us come out, let us take this role of tree planting.
Lengo langu kuu ni kuambia vijana popote mlipo tuweze kuwajibika katika utunzaji wa mazingira.
Let's get sporty. Ugandan Samuel